Gerald Celente joins us this first hour tonight, and if you've been watching the Fukushima tragedy, catastrophe, disaster, unparalleled disaster, remember Chernobyl was one reactor. Fukushima has 6. 4 of them are admittedly destroyed. And the admissions have been coming rather slowly, but today, TEPCO finally, the Tokyo Electric Power Company, had to let the cat out of the bag, so to speak, and tell the truth. And the truth is the nuclear reactor in Building 1 has melted down in full. They were sitting on this absurd lie for a long time that only 50% of the rods were exposed and had sustained damage, that no more than 50% were dead. There's no water at all on those rods. The water level in Reactor 1 is below the rods. In point of fact, the rods have broken and have fallen down into the bottom of the reactor, into that proverbial molten lava mass of radioactive meltdown muck. And it's eating its way through the bottom of the reactor. There is also an admission that there is most likely a number of holes already in the bottom of the reactor. Now, when that lava mass busts through the bottom of the reactor itself, it falls into the concrete dry well underneath. It'll go right through the containment building, whatever you want to call it, vessel building structure. It'll go down through that, and then we've got the China syndrome. It will continue going. It's not going to stop. There is no way to cool it. There never has been. A number of people have been saying for many weeks that there have been multiple meltdowns at Fukushima. We have the first admission of such today. I can tell you there are at least 3, if not 4. And that comes from studying the very difficult information that we've looked at, and difficult in the sense hard to come by. Because the lid came down on this story weeks ago. As you know, I complained about it here. It became more and more difficult to get news from Fukushima, but we were able to do it. And all indications are that the situation there is going to go on for many, many months, if not years, because there's nothing they can do about it. Nothing. And the water around there is just the beginning point. That radioactivity is going all across the Pacific. I say it's already in the Gulf of Alaska. That's why the EPA and the FDA will not test the fish, won't look into anything at all in terms of monitoring fish. They won't increase radiation testing on rainwater, drinking water, dairy, any more than they did for a couple of weeks. They've cut way back. They won't look into big ag, into the beef industry. Don't look, don't tell. Money is more important than human life, and other such wonderful axioms. How are you, Gerald?
Very good. You know, Jeff, here's a trend. We're finding out that people don't want to know now.
Now that's interesting. I'm all ears. And yeah. I believe you. I have no.
It's very true. It's a real trend, because what's happening is that people are aware that, just like you were mentioning about Fukushima, that they can't fix it. There's no way out. And there's no way out of the mess that we're in. So what people are doing is they're denying that. They think that by not noticing it, it can be fixed. Here's a letter that I got today. Dear Mr. Celente, and I'm getting these, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
And we're getting them in very different variations, but the same exact thing. Thank you for your kind offer to reduce your rate to me for the Trends Journal. I have decided not to renew for one basic reason. This world is full of bad events, but in order for me to function, I have chosen to concentrate on the million acts of kindness that mostly go unnoticed for every one bad deed. So you just mentioned about the lies with Fukushima, the poison, everybody that's getting cancer, how this is going to destroy so much of this planet. But that's the one bad deed. What you missed, Jeff, are the million acts of kindness.
Well,
all these people that don't have homes anymore, their lives are ruined, they're suffering. So anyway, I'll go on. I believe in the cosmic consciousness, that's in quotes, and I believe that each of us is part of that. I realize that we must be prepared But I think we do better to bring about good things by concentrating on the good instead of the bad. I have read every word of your newsletter in the past with interest, but now I am unwilling to see my country and my world as a quagmire, rather a place of divine design in perfect order with unlimited beauty and bounty and opportunities. Now, if that's not bad enough and you're waiting for the unicorns to come, what really gets me is the closing line.
No more. I can't take any more.
I got to tell you this one. I implore you to do the same. Imploring me to do the same?
Oh my.
Like I'm so stupid I can't figure out what's going on and I have to bury my head in the sand? And this is going on because, you see, Jeff, people don't want to admit they've been had, they've been conned, they've been pickpocketed, they've been robbed, they've been lied to, and they be dead.
You got it. Yeah, well, hope he lights an extra incense stick tonight for you or something out of benevolence and kindness. People like you and I are
this is really going to change things. It'll reverse everything that you just talked about in Fukushima, and it's the same story. We know the deal. The tragedy happens. It makes the news. All of a sudden, like that, bam! Fukushima's in the news every day. You're waking up with it. Whoop, gone off the tube.
Yeah.
Off the tube.
Yep.
And what did they replace it with?
The royal wedding.
Libya.
Oh, Libya, then the royal wedding.
Then the royal wedding.
And then
Osama.
They dug him up and killed him again.
They killed him again. And people believe this fish story.
That's amazing. That's
what's going on. I'm serious. This is the I don't want to know trend. I'm an adult, but I'm going to keep acting like a stupid little kid.
Yeah.
And what's happened, I have a line, and this is very important. My motto, think for yourself. I don't tell people what to believe. If you want to believe what you want to believe, that's your business.
Good luck.
Don't tell me I have to believe because you believe.
Yeah.
And what's going on here is this phrase that I've come up with that really sums it up, why people don't want to know. And it's because conservatives believe and liberals lie. You see, conservatives believe things like, we got to fight them over there so we don't fight them over here.
Yeah.
And they believe things like, them Iranians, what we got to do is we got to bomb them so they don't get that nuclear bomb. And while we're at it, we're going to bomb North Korea and kill all them Muslims. That's the way they think. Yeah. They actually believe it. They believe it, right?
Yeah, true.
Liberals lie. Liberals say things like, hey, Obama said he wasn't going to, go along with the Bush tax cuts. He said when he was president he would not renew them, and he did. Well, he has to make some kind of deals so he can get more of what he wants. Hey, but did you just see that Obama is now going to classify unclassified documents, and he said that he was all for transparency? Well, this is a negotiation for other things. He's increased the war in Afghanistan 3 times beyond what Bush had it, and now he's in Pakistan. Well, his hands are tied. He can't do everything, and he is getting orders from other people. Hey, look, he's just reinstated the Patriot Act. Rendition is worse than it was on the Bush. They're sending people all over the world to get tortured. Well, give him a chance. There's just so much he can do. They'll make every excuse they can. They're liars. Liberals are liars.
This man's litany of lies so far exceeds any other alleged president in American history that I just can't even. It boggles my brain. And as far as the deniers, don't bother me with the facts. My mind is made up. So leave them alone. Give them another shovel. They can bury their friends' heads in the sands too. I don't have any time for them. That letter ought to be published in one of your alerts.
I am.
Oh, good. That tells the story.
It's a beauty, isn't it?
Yeah, it's
Here
awesome.
come the unicorns.
Yeah, they sure are. If you're telling me this is the new barometer of an unfortunately large and substantial segment of this alleged populace we live in, we're doomed.
Oh, I know.
These people.
We are.
Yeah,
No.
we're toast.
Yeah, people do not. As I said, I could go on about all. Obama was going to remember he was going to clean Washington, a new slate.
That SOB has lied to beat the band.
Yeah, and the liberals. You see, here's the tragedy of it: is that they're intelligent enough to know that they've been lied to and conned, but they won't admit it. They don't have the courage, self-respect, or dignity. So they make up excuses. So after you go through the whole litany of all the lies, then they'll end it with, well, what would you rather have, McCain? It's like you're talking to a deranged little kid. And that's what the liberals are. I can't stand them. Because they're liars.
Whiny, simpering, little corrupted. Their favorite lie, of course, is the lie of omission. They're the worst.
There's a wonderful line, whether it's Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, the Quran, or the Bible, there's no salvation for the hypocrite.
No.
Because the hypocrite never atones for their sins.
Well, we live in the age of non-accountability. There it is.
Exactly.
And even adults now, something that they may be accountable for, it's their fault, in other words. The first word out of their mouth is not I or something to that effect. It's always a pronoun. He, she, them, they. It's always instant projection on someone else for anything of responsible nature. Anything. It's projected immediately away from them. No one accepts responsibility anymore, and that's what you just made so eloquently clear by reading that letter. That guy will not accept any responsibility.
A woman, actually.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever. They don't want to hear about it. And that's as irresponsible as it gets.
I know. Because, again, they don't want to admit that they've been conned.
That's right.
And what we're going into now, I mean, what's the dollar is being, pummeled. As again, the gold prices continue, even though they're trying to manipulate them. They're still over $1,500 an ounce.
Yep.
And you talk about, we were talking about Osama bin Laden fairy tale. Yeah, he put cement shoes on him, and now he sleeps with the fishes. Who could believe this thing?
They're baiting us with pictures too. Will Obama release the pictures or not? Look, anybody ever heard of Photoshop out there?
Yeah, really. My God. But anyway, in all of this talk, Jeff, in all of the talk, and again, whether you're a conspiracy theorist or not, whoever you think took down 9/11, forgetting that for a moment.
Or a conspiracy researcher.
Or a researcher, yes. I'm not knocking it, by the way. I'm not saying one way or another, so I want to make that clear. But the fact is, 2 buildings came down, and they whacked the Pentagon. General headquarters got hit. However it would happen, it got hit.
And you know who got hit in the Pentagon? The auditors who were trying to find out where Dov Zakheim had sequestered $2 trillion. Which went missing. They killed the auditors and all their records. That's right where that plane or whatever it was hit the Pentagon. That's true.
So I have in front of me my journal, the notes that I wrote beginning on September 12th.
Really?
And this is the first note that I wrote. There was not a moment of introspection. Why did this happen? Evil people, they said. It was an unprovoked attack. Women and men alike call for war. And my note is Poles.
Wow.
And now here we are, 10 years later, and $2 trillion or more spent on these phony wars.
Oh, yeah.
And in all of this talk, why do they hate us? Has nothing to do with foreign policy. It's because they hate our freedom and liberty. They don't want you to go and fatten up on junk food anymore, and they don't want you to go to Disney World. They're really jealous of you.
I know. I don't know. Sometimes, and I know you feel the same way, sometimes I guess you get up and you wonder why the hell you do what you do, but
I do what I do, and my buddies and I, we talk about it as well. We have Dr. Paul Craig Roberts writing for us as well.
Yeah.
former assistant treasury
Oh, yeah.
secretary. And we're not going to let these SOBs beat us down. I mean, that's
Nope.
what it comes down to.
That's why I'm here. Next month I start my 18th year. Same exact philosophy.
Yeah.